We continue to follow breaking news from overnight. I-75 is closed at both ends of 475 after a truck hit the Detroit Avenue overpass last night. And we want to get you the latest information right now. We are joined live by Kelsie Hoagland, Public Information Officer with the Ohio Department of Transportation. Kelsie, thank you so much for being with us this morning. So about 14 miles of 75 are closed. Before we talk more about that, tell us what happened.
Yeah, so yesterday evening, Friday evening, there was a vehicle, a roll-off dumpster, if you will, that had its arm raised as it was traveling under the overpass. It struck the outside beam as it was exiting under the bridge and caused significant damage under the bridge.
And what stretch of 75 are we talking? Obviously a big roadway for us here. What part of I-75 is closed?
Yeah, so if you're thinking about coming from I-280, it's where you're at the 475-75 split. Traffic will be directed to go 475, but we're almost just south of there on the Detroit Avenue overpass, almost just before you get to the downtown exits. So it definitely is a very heavily traveled corridor.
And with that being said, are there certain detours people should follow? What do you guys recommend?
For motorists that are traveling around the Toledo area, they will be guided to travel on 475 to bypass the region. But if you're traveling in the local routes, it's important to know that surface streets are what you'll be relying on for the next couple of days. Specifically on I-75, like you said, it's between the two segments of 475 and those junctions in North Toledo and in Perrysburg. However, if you're traveling southbound, if you're leaving from downtown to go to Perrysburg or beyond south, you will be able to get on going southbound. So it's anything south of Detroit Avenue, you will be able to travel south at this time. But then again, northbound at that 475-75 split in Perrysburg, you will be directed to go on 475.
Very helpful information there, Kelsie. And how long will these closures last? I know that's the big question this morning.
Yeah, so last night crews were determining what length or what the extent of the repair needs were, and they at this time are going to be removing one lane up above on Detroit Avenue and then also the beam that is here on the over the southbound lane of 75. To do that demolition, we're expecting that to conclude by morning rush hour on Monday morning. So we're aiming for 6 a.m. on Monday at this time to reopen the interstates. We will still have restrictions on Detroit Avenue after that.
Okay, good to know, especially just for weekend travel, but it sounds like for the most part, as of right now, Monday morning commutes post 6 a.m. should be okay. One more question for you before we let you go here. How often do these bridge strikes happen? I mean, can you think of the last one that we saw?
Well, when you think about the state, we have had other bridge strikes in other regions of the state, even as this year in 2025. In Toledo, the last one that we've had that caused significant damage like this that caused the interstate to close was in 2023. But these minor things, unfortunately, do happen in this particular case. Like we said, an arm was left raised up. It's human error that sometimes causes some of these incidents to occur, and that's just part of life. But in this particular case, this was not a height restriction issue. This was an arm that was left up that caused the collision.
All right, Kelsie, thank you so much for all of this information and for all of the work ODOT is doing to get this resolved quickly. Thank you so much. And again, if you're just joining us, about 14 miles of I-75 are closed between both 475 loops after a truck hit the Detroit Avenue overpass last night. We just heard live from an ODOT representative who said the closures will last through the weekend. She said they are hoping to get things back open by after 6 a.m. on Monday. So right now it's the weekend commute that's really going to be impacted. But again, after 6 a.m. on Monday, things should be back open with some restrictions. ODOT crews are hard at work right now. Until then, you are asked to find detours and rely on surface streets. Of course, we'll keep you updated on air and online as we learn more.